Hello, children. I hope you are doing good. And I think we have completed that human health and diseases. This is the next chapter we are going to see today. That is chapter 10, microbes in human welfare. Chapter 9 is already omitted, so you need not worry about that. This is chapter 10 I am going to take, which is microbes in human welfare. That by the name itself, you will know that the beneficial role of microorganisms we are going to see in this lesson. First of all, I'll see about we'll see about the nature of the microorganisms. See, you know very well they are present, omnipresent. They are present everywhere. That is soil, water, air, inside our bodies, animals, plants, everywhere. And apart from that, you can even see the presence of these microorganisms in harsh habitats, the extremes of temperature, that is thermal vents, hydrothermal vents, that is a fissure, just a crack on the sea floor in which the molten liquid things will come out at a very high temperature. It can be 400 degrees centigrade, and normally on near volcanic eruptions on the ground floor it can come. But in the sea, it will not go. It's an ocean, so anyway, that temperature is not going to affect. In that high temperature, that is 400 degrees Celsius and all, you can see the presence of microorganisms. They are able to survive in the thermal vents, very high temperature, and deep in the soil, then under the layers of snow and acidic environment. All these area you can see the microorganisms. See, this is what they are omnipresent, present everywhere. Okay, microorganisms, there are so many microorganisms. I'll just name a few of them. Protozoans. Okay, they are protozoans, and you can see bacteria and viruses, fungi, all these, and some viroids. These are they are proteinaceous, infectious agents. They are viroids. This is prions. Both are viroids and prions. Both are proteinaceous, infectious agents. That is, this viroids, it will be having the nucleic acid, but it will not be having the protein coat. It will be very smaller than viruses. They also cause diseases in living organisms. Then prions, it is a type of protein that can trigger normal protein that is present in the brain to fold abnormally in human. So it affects humans and animals. That is what it. They are all proteinaceous, infectious agents. Okay. Then microorganisms like bacteria and fungi, they can be grown on nutritive media to form colonies. This is you can just grow them in the laboratory. You can see the bacterial colonies there. Okay, to study the nature and the pathway or the metabolism, you can grow them, and for the research work, they are fungal colonies. These are fungal colonies. They are grown in the petri dish in the laboratory. And today we are going to see about microbes in household products. How it is. These are the pictures. You can see the bacterial coccus, bacillus, and bacteria having the flagella. There you can see the viral pictures, rod-shaped viruses you can see. And down, I already showed colonies. Here also you can see the bacterial and fungal colonies. You can see the bacterial and fungal, which already you saw in the picture which I showed you. Okay, today we are going to see microbes in household products. Okay, microbes in household products. See, this we'll see about this lactobacillus, which plays a significant role. Lactobacillus, which plays a significant role. See, this is a common example is a production of curd from milk. You know very well that the milk will be converted into curd. See, if you just see in your mom in the milk, just adding a few like a few drops of curd as an inoculum. Overnight they'll keep it. The next day morning, you can see it has been converted into curd. How it is possible? It is because of this bacillus. I'll show the picture of this lactobacillus or lactic acid bacteria. This is what the picture. Okay, see what happens here. They grow in milk and convert into a curd. Okay, during what happens during the growth, it produces acids that coagulate and partially digest the milk proteins. Okay, so only a small amount of curd added to the fresh milk as an inoculum. It will contain millions, that inoculum will contain millions of this that is lactic acid bacteria, which at suitable temperature. It needs a warm temperature, multiply, thus converting the milk into curd. Okay, it coagulates, that acid present in the bacteria coagulates and partially digests the milk proteins and then convert them into curd. That too, fresh curd is very good for health. That is what this in the fresh curd, this bacteria will improve its nutritional quality by increasing vitamin B12. That is very good. And sometimes it plays other significant role in our stomach. It plays a very beneficial role in checking disease causing microorganisms. Okay, so all these are the beneficial role of lactic acid bacteria. Then you have seen about the other things, that is dosa idli batter, like that also same thing. If you keep it overnight, the next day morning you can see the puffed up appearance of the dough. Okay, that is because of the fermentation. It is also a kind of done by lactobacillus and other bacteria. You can see the bacterial response which is responsible for the fermentation of idli and dosa batter. And you can see this how it has become. See, it is fermented by bacteria. That is the puffed up appearance, I said, no, of the dough. It's due to the presence of carbon dioxide gas. Okay, carbon dioxide gas. That is how it happens. See, this bacteria will follow some metabolic pathway. That is nothing but starch and sugar metabolism and an enhanced amino acid and nucleotide metabolism, which is responsible for this fermentation process. And lactobacillus and other bacteria are responsible for this. They will just consume the sugar that is present in the batter. This main rice, you know very well, it's rich in carbohydrates. They will consume that sugar that's present in the batter at this rice, and the amount of air present in the batter and the hand, which they will just make it, they will just mix the rice and the urd dal. So that two things are responsible for this fermentation, and it will produce carbon dioxide. So lactobacillus and other bacteria consume sugar, okay, along with the air present, and they will produce this carbon dioxide, which is responsible for this fermentation or puffed up appearance of the dough. Okay, so that is the thing. And apart from that, you know very well, baker's this is what Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which is otherwise known as the baker's yeast. This dough, which is used for making bread, is fermented by using this baker's yeast, which is nothing but Saccharomyces cerevisiae. And apart from that, a number of traditional drinks, okay, and foods are also fermented by microorganisms. This is a traditional fermented drink, and you can see the next picture, and this is what the bamboo shoots, which is they are also used to make food, and this is toddy, traditional. This is also this is a fermented drink which is made from the sap from palms, fermented sap from palm tree. Same the fermentation process only. Okay, then other things, microorganisms are also used to ferment fish, soya bean. Already we saw the bamboo shoot. All these things in which the microorganisms are used for fermentation. A number of drinks and food also they are used. and we'll see now about the in the cheese production also. Microorganisms plays a significant role. Yeah, this is what Swiss cheese. Here you can see the large holes. That is due to the production of large amount these holes. Due to the production of large amount of carbon dioxide by a bacterium. That bacterium name is Propionibacterium shermani. This is what the Swiss cheese. So they are responsible. Bacteria are used for this purpose. And one more cheese, which is known as a Roquefort cheese. They are ripened by growing a special fungi on them, which gives a very nice flavor, a particular flavor. Roquefort cheese, and this fungus name is Penicillium roqueforti. The fungus name is Penicillium roqueforti, which is responsible to give a very nice particular flavor in the particular cheese. So all these are the beneficial role of microorganisms. So I think we have to learn about the lactobacillus and about other microorganisms which are used for fermenting drinks and other food items. And cheese production, you have to learn about these two kinds of bacteria which plays a significant role in cheese production. And the next class we'll see about microbes and industrial production in industrial products. Okay, how it is useful in industries. We'll see about that. Thank you, children. Have a good day.